Suicide Mouse, also known as SuicideMouse.AVi, is a black and white cartoon featuring a looped animation of the Disney character Mickey Mouse walking along with several buildings accompanied by eerie piano music. The video cuts to black for several minutes and then returns with distorted video and loud screaming audio at the end. Now here's the origin of the story. Apparently the video was uploaded by YouTuber Neck1 on November 25th of 2009, and it came with a long story about a fabricated backstory about the animation. The description gives out information and other details about the animation itself. Neck1 started off with a question. So do any of you remember those Mickey Mouse cartoons from the 1930s? Anyway, the animated footage begins with Mickey walking, with a morose expression. However, there's no soundtrack. But soon, things begin to change. Sound quickly starts to play in the background, and it begins with a rhythmic tapping. Then, what the source describes as a murmur. It wasn't a language, but it was more like a gurgled cry. As the volume and intensity of the murmur increases gradually, the background begins to shift in surreal and irrational ways, bending and twisting into a nightmare landscape, and then Mickey's expression began to morph into an obscene sneer. As you can see here, basically, this is the interpretation of what it looks like, I guess. By the 7th minute, the gurgled cry becomes an anguished scream of a female, and Mickey's face continues to warp into a rictus of horror, his eyes and mouth enlarging, while buildings around him begin to crumble, collapse, and burn all around him. By the 8th minute of the footage, Mickey is running frantically, his face twisted into a horrific visage, while the screaming reaches a painful pitch. The reel then shows Mickey stab himself and collapse to the ground, as all of the screaming just stops. But then, out of nowhere, the devil flashes on screen for a split second, and then the reel cuts to a large, smiling Mickey logo, typically shown at the beginning and at the end of Disney's vintage one-reel black and white cartoons of the 30s, while playing some really weird, distorted music. Apparently, according to the story, there was a security guard at the Disney studios at the time who saw the footage and then came out of the back room of the studio, repeating the same line 9 times. He said, "Real suffering is not known," 9 times before taking his own pistol and shooting himself in the head. And that's it. Yeah, that's really all that I got for this one. And that's literally all that I can find on this page. Anyway, what did you all think of the story? And do you think that this was creepy and very surreal and abstract for me to start out with for this revival series? Let me know down in the comments.